All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark. I'm Mark, the Mortgage Marine. Typically, we kind of talk about a ton of topics when we get on here to discuss things. But today, we really want to focus on Movement Mortgage. Movement Mortgage is the company that I work for, and I have Tim Horst with us as well. And Tim Horst is also a loan officer with Movement Mortgage. So, thank you and welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit of background about myself in case y'all didn't know about me to date. So I'm an 18-year retired Master Sergeant from the Marine Corps. I came from a special operations background, and just specifically when it comes to the title, like the subject of this podcast, I never in a million years thought that I was ever going to be a loan officer. It never crossed my mind throughout my entire like adulthood and everything else, And I started thinking about it when I was starting to get out, and I had to transition a little bit early because I ended up getting diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, so I couldn't be on the teams anymore. So I ended up having to transition out, and I typically want to do the typical operator thing and, think about doing FBI, CIA, or something else like that. But then, I essentially got recruited into the mortgage industry, and, it was not this company. It was actually a previous company. So now this is like the third company I've worked for. And, I think that throughout, the trials and tribulations in the mortgage industry and everything else, man, I think it's a pretty awesome job so far. I think that the way that we can help out our fellow veterans in the community, it's profound. And ultimately, I think, especially at Movement Mortgage, man, I think we're doing a lot of great things for the community. And I think we got a lot more to talk about with that a little bit later on. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Mark. Like Mark, I'm a Marine veteran, served 10 years in the Marine Corps. I also got out, had no idea what I was going to do post-transition, and kind of fell into the lending game just like Mark did. So it's one of those things that you don't, I guess, dream about as being a kid. But,
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how profound of an impact I could have on people from just helping them purchase homes, helping them refinance homes, saving them money, helping them through an extremely stressful process. And the training and the traits that made us good at our jobs in the military, I think, are what makes us successful as loan officers. And then also, most importantly, we've landed at a company that also cares about people the way we care about people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you can kind of expound upon that, but this is my third mortgage company that I've worked for since I've gotten out. The previous one that I worked for, we worked for together, and it essentially just didn't necessarily play the game correctly, and they ended up closing their doors. And I think it was just by, I don't know if it was chance or fate, but me and you made the decision together, essentially, to make this move over to Movement Mortgage, and I mean, I definitely feel like we found a home here. And I think that this company specifically very much lines up with our kind of military like mentalities.
Right. No, absolutely. So the company's tagline is they exist to love and value people. Like just that's it. As simple as that. They don't exist for the shareholders. They don't exist for the making the CEO or the board richer. They exist to love and value people and to better the communities that they serve.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that they have the word love in their mission statement. Obviously, we come from a military background. Mission statement is all. If you don't have a solid mission statement, like ultimately you're probably going to fail. And the fact that they actually incorporated the word love into a mission statement of a mortgage company. When I heard about it, when I first got over here, I didn't know about it before. It was kind of one of those things that I kind of fell into, and I was happy about it, but I was just like, wow, man, like I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Personally.
No, for sure. Especially for a financial company. My wife said it best. First time she was introduced to the company and was meeting some of the other leadership, she was like, this is not what I expected from a mortgage company. This is like maybe like a tech company or just that's the kind of culture that they create. Is they incorporate everybody. They love and value their employees, and most importantly, they exist to serve the communities.
Yeah, and what I found too is the overall structure of movement reminded me. I just had a lot of parallels back to our time in the military, right? They very much have their overall operations structured like it's a military entity, and then ultimately, like I know I had a bunch of good leaders when I was in the military, and they very much actually cared about you and they cared about your families and everything else. And I have gotten nothing but that same feeling since I've been here at Movement.
No, I completely agree. I mean, from just a fundamental level, from the loan officers all the way up through the the senior leaders. They're all here to support us, and most importantly, to support our realtor partners, and then also our clients, home buyers,
and the overall community as a whole. So speaking about supporting the community and just working for a lender in general, this is my third. This is your second. All lenders are for-profit entities. At the end of the day, if you really think about what lending is they're providing you something that you didn't previously had, and they're charging you an interest rate on top of that in order to cover their overhead. And that's what Movement Mortgage does, just like any other lender. But what do you think is primarily the difference about Movement Mortgage? And then can you talk about what it means to actually be an impact lender?
Yeah, absolutely. So the difference is that Movement is 50%, or 49% owned by the Movement Foundation. So the Movement Foundation is a foundation that was created to better underserved communities. So it started in Charlotte, and they several years ago made it their mission to start building schools and to give back 50% of their profits to underserved communities. So I've actually had the privilege of touring one of the schools, and it's amazing.
They're state of the art. From what I've seen, yeah.
It's I think we've got 5 schools. We're about to open the 6th, and they're on the mission to open 100 schools within the next 10 years to serve the community.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally when you see these kids and you see what they're the impact you're having on their lives. It almost brings a tear to your eye because it's that important, and that's the most important thing is the fact that the profits are being shared with the communities. So these are some of these people might not be able to purchase a home, but the profits from the other sales in the communities are going back to support, to gentrify the community, to bring up the future leaders of America by giving them the opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So the big thing, and you mentioned impact lending.
Yes.
So what the new initiative that Movement has started is that we are committed to give back 50% of our profits to the community. So that's a real tangible effort.
Right. So, I mean, and from my understanding of how we're going to do this is we're going to collect all of the data in the year 2023 and then be able to kick that data out over social media and through our realtor partners that use us. And it will actually show, okay, cool. You closed a loan with Movement Mortgage. You're now living in your house and we're servicing your loan because Movement Mortgage actually services the loans that they originate. And then through the payment of your mortgage, we will be able to actually show you closed your loan with us at X amount, and we are able to feed 25 children, hypothetically, 25 children in one of our Movement schools with the profits that were earned off of the closure of your loan.
Exactly. So that's not something, it's happening right now.
It is.
So the actual tangible, like that you can actually see on paper, that's going to come after this year of collecting the data and really analyzing it and showing how that money is being reinvested into the communities. So the impact lending is something that we've been doing, and we're going to continue to do, and really we're making the commitment going forward to showcase the good that is being done with every mortgage payment, with every loan closed. Both from the borrower, the home buyer side of the house, and then also from the agents.
Right. And I mean, Movement's open about, the fact that, we are a for-profit company. But the fact that we make a profit within our company allows us to, give away 50% of those profits to our nonprofit entity, which is part of the Movement Mortgage umbrella. And I mean, the fact that we can build schools, and those schools, I don't want to quote the actual statistics, but I know that they perform better in testing and everything else than the surrounding schools in their area. And then the fact that it's in those lower social economic zones, those are underprivileged communities, especially when it comes to education. And they are receiving, top-notch technology in those schools. They're being fed for free in those schools. And I am quite certain, too, that they're also provided with uniforms and everything else, right?
Yeah, uniforms, backpacks, school supplies, all of those items, and we as loan officers, we actually have the ability to donate portions of our commissions and what we raise from volunteering to go towards clothing the students, to filling their backpacks, providing them with the fundamental resources that they may not have access to otherwise. And that just goes, you can donate to any charity. You can, go online, donate to or some local charity, but from someone we work with every day, we work for every day, that we see our company investing back in the communities, like
it really cements the culture of the organization at the end of the day. It really does. Sure. And I mean, just like the organization that we came from before, right? The Marine Corps, right? Honor, courage, and commitment is just part of that core principles that grow that whole organization. And the fact that Movement Mortgage uses 50% of their profits to go to charity, it just all goes back to their mission statement, right? The fact that they actually have the word love within their mission statement. And I mean, not to go deep on a religious diatribe or anything else, but I mean, it's a Christian-based organization. So I think the fact of like tithing has always been part of, Christianity and most religions throughout the world as a whole. And they're actually like keeping true to that by giving so much away to the communities that need it the most.
No, absolutely. No. And that's the bigger impact we can have on the community. The thing is that, impact lending isn't something that's unique to Movement Mortgage. Anybody can be an impact lender.
Mm-hmm. What's the stipulation?
So the stipulation is, and it's an independently verified through an accounting firm. Third party verification, that you have to donate at least 10% of your profits back. To date, Movement Mortgage is the only impact lender on the mortgage side, and we're committed to doing that. We've mentioned 50%. 10% is the minimum, but we're not going to do the minimum.
Right.
We didn't do the minimum in the military, and we're not going to do the minimum in business either.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then, how does impact lending, and we can kind of talk about just the fact that as real estate professionals, like you were very much involved in your community. If you're good at your job, like you have to care about your community, and B, you have to be a part of your community, because at the end of the day, you're essentially selling and financing these little squares of your community, right? Because I mean, we only do residential mortgages within the United States, so ultimately we are selling you a block of this country within your community, and we're providing finance for it. And then through us being able to do that, I think that we ultimately make the community better. And then just through this impact lending and working with our realtor partners, we can actually show via the amount of business that our realtor partners have done with us, how many people they were able to feed and clothe and educate.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, sometimes real estate from a lending side of the house, from a real estate agent side of the house, it's kind of a thankless job. We close the deal. We go to the closing, we have some communication afterwards. We follow up, we stay in touch, all those things. But, once the transaction's over, people don't buy houses every day, so, and we have those relationships and repeat clients and all those things, but you can actually see the tangible benefits from as a home buyer, and then also as an agent over time, of what that sale did for the community, which is pretty huge. It's not just on to the next one, to the next one. You see the cumulative results over time, and you pay that mortgage for several years, and all of a sudden that number is, you fed hundreds of kids, or you fed clothed them, or from a real estate agent side of the house, you've closed 10 deals with Movement Mortgage this year. What is the
tangible benefit to the community?
I mean, you might have helped build a school, it's, and hopefully we've got several schools in Charlotte. They just approved one for Raleigh. We'd love to see one down here.
Yeah, we'd like to see one in Wilmington.
Carolina.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be amazing to help out our local community and to see the real impact down here.
Yeah, and I mean, we obviously are on LinkedIn and social media and everything else, and you always see other real estate professionals being like, cool, funded $200 million worth of loans or whatever else. And, my argument to that is going to be, cool, how many kids did you feed? Right. And how many backpacks were you able to provide, and so on and so forth. So that's why I just think that it's really going to be like an exponential growth for good. And the fact that, we can actually show the net tangible benefit of closing a loan with us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the important thing too is we don't want to be the only impact lender.
Right.
We want every lender to be an impact lender because that's going to
exponential growth.
Exactly. That's the exponential growth that's going to help the community, help the states, help the country, the world in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, I just, I saw the video that they put out, and then kind of the vision statement and everything else, man. And all I could think about is just like we were taking a step in the right direction, man. Like it just felt right to me, 100%. And then we already kind of discussed quite a bit, and so we kind of got off on both topics already about like how impact lending is actually going to affect our communities. And ultimately, man, like, one of my favorite jobs while I was in the Marine Corps was I was an instructor, and then I was an instructor of instructors in the Marine Special Operations School. And man, you never really know the impact that you have as an instructor on almost an entire organization. And I think Movement Mortgage is almost like just kind of transgressed that, and now it's like, cool, what impact are you going to have on like an entire country,
Right. No, absolutely.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, being able to see that, because like you said, as an instructor, you don't see it for several years down the line.
You don't.
Right. So I'm excited about it. I mean, I think the impact lending is revolutionary in terms of the financial industry. And I think it's moving our communities, our country in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if anybody in the audience, lender side of the house, if you want to be an impact lender and you need some further information on it, contact us and we'll get you in touch with the people that you need to get in touch with. As far as our realtor partners go, we're going to be able to start providing you this tangible aspect of the business that you have trusted us to do with you, so that you can actually like just kind of have the self-knowledge of that. Because I mean, self-knowledge is amazing. Like, cool. If I knew that I can help 100 children, I'm gonna sleep better at night. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
And same for our realtor partners. So I mean, we're going to be able to provide that with them starting next year, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean we'll have the actual data next year, but right now, I mean, it's live. Like this is something that's marketable that we can provide to our partners now, to our clients as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I just can't, especially coming from our backgrounds, like especially service members, man. Like it's ingrained in you to always try to do something a little bit bigger than yourself. I would assume that's why I joined. So I assume that's why most people join. Yeah. And I think this type of good work for the community in our country is it's really gonna resonate with our community.
Yeah, and like I said it earlier, when I got into doing mortgages, I had no idea that I would actually feel good after a transaction. Helping people, and this just makes it even better. Like now, instead of just helping that one family save money or have a stress-free transaction, now we're actually seeing the second order effects of where that money and those profits are going, and it's for the betterment of mankind.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, kind of switching gears a little bit. So we kind of have gone in and out of, our specific backgrounds, and then how our backgrounds have kind of aligned with our current employer, Movement Mortgage. But what do you think ultimately kind of, not only just sets Movement Mortgage apart, which I think we've kind of pushed that pretty far. Mm-hmm. I think people kind of understand what the difference is as far as like Movement Mortgage and a lot of our competitors. But what, as a loan officer, do you think kind of sets you apart from, some of your competitors or competition, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it kind of goes back to the mission statement of our organization now. It's love and value of our referral partners, and then also of the clients. At the end of the day, I tell clients all the time, I don't care if you go with me. If you go with another lender, or choose not to buy, choose whatever you decide. I'm here to help you, coach you through the process, to assist any way I can from application post close, and then even and then some. I had a client apologize to me for not responding to my emails for 6 months, or to thinking that they were stringing me along, and I was like, there's no need to apologize. Like, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you through what can be a very stressful experience. This is, for many people, this is the most money they're ever going to spend in their life. Maybe they're going to do it once or twice in their life. I go back to one of my first lending experiences, buying a home, and I had no idea what was going on. And I was kind of just floating through and just listening to people. And in hindsight now, I realized I was not very well informed. I didn't realize, a lot of the things that now I see weren't right. And I go back to that when I'm looking to help a client. It's like, what would I have wanted when I was PCSing, moving from San Diego to North Carolina, and what would I have wanted to know? How could I have done it better than what I experienced? And really focusing on that, and making sure that the clients are start to finish taken care of, and not feeling like they're just another number. And that's why I align so well with what we're doing here at Movement.
Yeah, I look at it, just from a military perspective background, it's just leadership, right? At the end of the day, you are calling me, you're trusting me, and you expect me to accomplish the mission. And if at any way, shape, or form that mission can be accomplished, I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. I take pride in that. And I also look at it as it's kind of like the golden rule, right? Treat others as you would like to be treated. And ultimately, like, I want to give out the most accurate, helpful information I can to my realtor partners and to my clients, so that they can make the best informed decision on a very substantial decision in their life. But I just think ultimately, though, it's such a great thing that we're able to do in this country as far as just home ownership in general. I think a lot of people that have heard me talk about, the Constitution of the United States and the pursuit of happiness, but it's something that we have in this country. And those of us that have been outside of the country quite often, especially to some of the, some of the places that we ended up going just, via our military service and everything else, like, they don't always have that. You know what I mean? No. And I think a lot of times, like, we, to an extent, take it for granted. But that's why I very much look at trying to inform people on, hey, like, there are so many ways for you to own a home. And frankly speaking, I'm going to figure out a way to get it. If you want it, like, we're going to figure out a way to get there.
Right.
And then, we talked about just coming from our background and just, like, volunteering in general. I always think that, joining the military is somewhat of a selfless act. And I think that being a loan officer and just a real estate professional, and this is a big shout out to our realtor partners too. I mean, it is a selfless act. And, I don't think this job is necessarily easy by any means, because you give up a lot of time. You sacrifice a lot of time with your family, as you know. And I know that our realtor partners do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just definitely something, probably coming from our, similar backgrounds, it definitely kind of sets us apart from some of the other people who are a little bit more transactional.
No, absolutely. And that's one thing I hear myself saying quite often is, people buy houses when they're not working. And unfortunately, from our background, we're used to working all hours of the day and all hours of the night. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest thing, is being available when others aren't, for the clients, for the referral partners. That means, after hours, weekends, things like that. That's when people are making these decisions, and that's when they need the support that, again, maybe sometimes to the chagrin of our families, that we're available on those odd hours, to make sure that everybody's taken care of and the mission's accomplished.
Right, mission accomplishment, right? And just aligning back to Movement Mortgage's overall mission, like, I love what I do, right? Oh, yeah. I love what I do. At the end of the day, like, the amount of happy clients that I have that, like, text me later on, or like, yo, dude, we love our house, or so on and so forth. I mean, it's awesome. Like, and just the fact that also, like, especially, like, I do predominantly VA, right? Everything that I do for the most part is VA, and the fact that I have been able to close a house for one of my boys in Iraq, so that his family can like go and get established and he doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. So it's selfish feeling maybe,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like it makes me happy. And you know, doing stuff like that, and then also being able to align with, you know, the nonprofit that Movement has created and just the impact lending and everything else, man. You know, it just definitely makes you kind of, you know, I sleep well at night knowing all of those things.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then, you know, I think that's kind of talked about quite a bit. And then just overall, just ownership, right? I think, you know, especially coming from the Marine Corps, like you're in charge of somebody from day one, even if it's yourself. And, you know, I very much look at it the same way when it comes to structuring a loan and getting a loan to the closing table.
Right.
Like you just have to take ownership over it, and you have to make it happen a lot of times. And you know, ultimately, Movement's made that pretty simple
Right.
and easy.
No, it's relationship business.
Mhm.
You know, these are relationships of trust. You know, the buyers are trusting us, the real estate agents, the attorneys, and then all of our team back office. We're, you know, from a loan officer perspective, you know, I always say that I'm the buffer between all the back office stuff and then everybody externally, right? Because I care so much, and like you do, about the client and about the transaction and about the relationship, because you know we want to make this as easy as possible for all parties involved, and to make it almost seem like the easiest purchase that they've ever made, like they just bought gas at the gas station. You know?
Nice, yeah, 100%. So I think you know, I think we kind of expounded upon, you know, what the Movement difference is, what it means to be an impact lender, and ultimately what I think kind of sets us apart from some of our competitors and everything else. So I mean, I hope that that's, you know, been portrayed, you know, clearly. And if there's any lenders out there that are interested in becoming impact lenders, like we said, just get in contact with us, and we'll be able to set you up for success going forward. Any realtor partners that we don't already have the privilege to work with, if you're interested in, you know, having a bigger impact on your community, please just get in touch with us, and we'll give you some further information. And then to our, you know, our past clients and our future clients, at the end of the day, you're going to close your loan with Movement Mortgage, and we're going to use 50% of that profit in order to help our less fortunate out there.
Yeah.
So we'll close it then,
Cool.
and then we'll do a VBC thing.
Okay.
All right. So as far as VBC goes, you know, we'll just kind of do a pitch as far as, and that will be like the end of that segment, and then this will be something different. Okay. We'll just cut. We'll just whatever. And then recording. Yeah, it would just be like a